Hello and welcome to the class again. The topic for today is the importance of lesson planning, and it is covered under the subject Pedagogy of a School Subject, History. The learning objectives for today's class is to learn and to create a well organized lesson plan, which is a very necessary requirement of a teacher training, to understand the needs of the student and learning style so that a proper lesson plan could be prepared, to be prepared and confident while teaching in the classroom. This is the most important aspect of preparation of lesson plan, and to help the students to achieve the aim and objectives of the lesson. So these all will be the learning objectives for today's class. As we all know that all teachers require a lesson plan that is thoughtfully prepared regardless of their ability, experience, or what their field of training involves. So, the importance of a lesson plan is emphasized by the need for clarity and understanding regarding how the entire learning process in the class will be handled by the teacher, as well as how students can understand and store the knowledge that is being um, passed on to them. So, as a teacher, what do you think? Do we really need a lesson plan? So many of the student teachers, have doubts in their mind that why this kind of planning is needed. And if we are talking about the daily lesson plans before going into the class, why it is important and how it is related to the confidence level of the teacher. So this all we will be discussing in this class today. So yes, the answer to the question which we just asked, do we really need a lesson plan, is yes. So a teacher is planning tonight and the preparation is not done. And in the next day, they are panicked in the class. So planning tonight, panicking tomorrow if not prepared, not, planned a proper lesson plan. So it is, planning is not only for us, for the students as well, because the students will the understand your problems, or without your if you come without any preparation in the class for once or twice, but not more than that. So students consider you as an ideal. You are the leader of the class, so you have to instruct them, you have to guide them, and for this you need to be confident with the planning what you are going to do today in the class. So we can look more into the concept of lesson plan. What is it? It is a teacher's detailed description of the course of the instruction for a lesson. Whatever he or she needs to transact in the class, whatever content or the content based on the curriculum, he needs to transfer the content in the class. For that, lesson plan is a detailed description which is prepared by a teacher. So it is developed by a teacher to guide class learning. So they can properly motivate and guide the class. Details may vary depending on the preference of the teacher, subject being covered, and the needs of the students. So lesson planning have different formats in different institutions all over at national or international level. And in that formats, it depends totally on the preference of the teacher, how they are going to prepare. If there is any format produced by the institution, you have to prepare in that format, while the lesson plan is being prepared online. Whether we are following any kind of approach of lesson plan, or are there any kind of mixed approaches of lesson plan being used. So it all depends on the subject also. If these are the language lesson plans, or these are the social science subjects lesson plans, science subject, math subject. So every subject has a different requirements, and also the most important is the needs of the student to be taken care of. So there may be requirements which are mandated by the school system regarding the lesson plan. So a lesson plan is the teacher's guide for running the particular lesson, and it includes the goal. There must be a goal. What the students are supposed to learn today, how the goal will be reached, For that, we have to decide upon a method, a procedure, how we are going to do it, and a way of measuring how well the goal was reached. So whatever goal you have decided, so all these three things must be included in the lesson plan. So how this goal will be reached, how you need to measure that, you need to assess that. So through test, worksheets, homework, projects, etc., you will be able to measure that. But all things should be planned in advance before coming into the class. So a teacher needs to think about these four questions: what, who, how. So who am I teaching? Who are the students? What is the level of the students? What is the standard of the students? What is the mental age of the students? What am I teaching? So what is the subject, or the content or the topic which I am going to teach today? How will I teach it? So if there is a certain kind of topic, you can make use of various kinds of teaching strategies and methods which you have learned throughout the academic years. How will I know if the students understand? So this is the question. For this, you have to prepare an assessment plan. And for this, we will discuss someday that what kind of steps are taken while preparing a lesson plan, so that all these questions are covered very well in that lesson plan efficiently. So it is a written guide which is used to aid teachers in their lessons. So it is also a kind of aid, support material for a teacher, that they are ready how to utilize the maximum 35 to 40 minutes which they are going to spend in the class. So all should be planned in advance. Why is lesson planning important? Every teacher is required to prepare a lesson plan because this is considered as guide for the day's lessons. Now, lesson planning is important because it gives the teacher a concrete direction of what she or he wants to take up for the day. Research has shown that student learning is correlated to teacher planning. Yes, the learning of students also depends upon the planning of the teacher, how well the teacher is prepared for the class. So it is interrelated. So one major explanation is that when plan is ready, teachers can focus on its implementation. Now they don't have to just stand in the class and think that what to do next. So they will be ready for the implementation and the transaction in the class. When teachers do not have to think so much about what they need to do next, they are able to focus on other parts of the lesson as well. So they will be able to, maybe certain things come up at that point in the class while teaching, or some kind of questions are asked by the students at that time. So all things cannot be prepared in advance, but you know that how you need to manage and how you need to complete the lesson today. So there will be less confusion in the minds of the pupil, because they will be taking interest, they will be understanding it by doing various kinds of activities which you have planned for the day. So this is how you will be focusing more on the delivering part. So it is important because it helps teachers ensure that the day-to-day activities which go on in their classrooms are providing students with an adequate level of long-term progress toward the goals outlined in their scope and sequence, as well as their individual education plans when necessary. So as a teacher, you don't know what is going to happen next in the class. But when you are prepared, when you have prepared a good lesson plan, you have all kind of activities ready with you, you have teaching aids ready with you, you have the objectives in your mind, that what kind of objectives I have to achieve today. For that, you will be preparing everything in advance, and your plans will be successful. Thus, maybe in the starting, when you are new to a class, new teacher in a class, when you have started your career in teaching, you will be hesitant in certain areas. But after some level of experience, the planning part, the hesitation to plan, or the time which it takes in planning, it will all become a habit of yours. So this is the reason why everything is taught while training, and the practical part, the internship part, is being focused on the teacher trainees to be completed without any loopholes. An effective lesson plan includes several elements, and without this, we cannot say that this is a good lesson plan. So there are certain good and bad lesson plans also. So there must be learning objectives in the starting. What are the objectives? And based on that only you will prepare a lesson plan. There should be the questions. What kind of questions you will be asking? The developing questions, the introduction questions, the understanding questions, and at the end, the evaluation questions, the recapitulatory questions. So these all questions should be, quality based, and there may be some questions while explaining also. You can ask questions or the students can ask questions. So all kind of supporting materials, what kind of activities to be included, this should be there in an effective lesson plan. So it is important to have the learning objectives in mind, because those should drive the development and implementation of all activities in the classroom. Now, quality questions are inquiries that the teacher plans to direct at the students during the course of the class that day. Sometimes these questions are rhetoric in nature, but more than often they are designed to help the students think at a higher level capacity than simple memorization and comprehension. So this is how, by the time, by the experience, by practice, we will be able to develop such questions which are able to develop high order level thinking skills in our students. So it is important to come up with a plan for assessment to determine whether the class has met its targets. So if these all activities are included in a lesson plan, then it is a very effective lesson plan. So what is the need of lesson planning? So sometimes a question comes up in our mind. What is the need of lesson planning? Daily lesson planning. We have learned the format. We know how to deliver the lesson now. Why it is a need for us to plan? If we fail to plan, then the plan is decided to be failed. So fail to plan, your plan will fail. How we will discuss that? Through lesson planning, the subject is organized properly. Okay, so it keeps the teacher free from the faults of thoughtless teaching. So maybe sometimes the teacher needs to pass the time, and they can wander from one topic to another, going from one example to another, so just showing that they have to just pass 35 to 40 minutes. So if they are free, they don't know what to do next, so they will be thinking about how to engage now students. So this all is reflecting among the students also, in front of the students. It makes the and if we have a proper lesson plan, it makes a proper atmosphere for learning process. So if you are planned, the students will also automatically know that yes, the teacher is confident and prepared with her content. So there will be a learning atmosphere in the class. The teacher also gets a clear idea about when they should start evaluation and when they should proceed to the next lesson. Because when they ask questions, they will be getting the feedback, and on the basis of that, their lesson plan for the next day will be prepared. So they know that from where they need to start their class, will there be a need for any revision, or the topic has not completed in one day. So this is all the planning which you have to do. There are certain topics which cannot be completed in one day. And in a subject like history, the topics are very, very much comprehensive. They are very broad. If you are teaching the Mughal dynasty, you cannot think about teaching Mughal dynasty in one day. So if you are teaching ancient India, the Mahajanpads, you cannot teach them in one day, because it will be a information overload for the students. And this is not a proper way. So you have to find out the teaching points which you are going to cover on that day. And you can also divide the lessons in some parts, like 1, 2, 3, 4, how much days it will take to complete the lesson. So you don't have to go on with the efforts of repeating, revising every time, because the students are complaining that they have not understood. So it's better that you divide the lesson in small parts and present before the students. So this is easy to learn. So for that, timeline and time graph could be prepared. Lesson plans helps in organized teaching and it saves time. Yes, after some time you will be happy to see that you are preparing lesson plans in a less time. So it will save your time, because you don't have to think every day now what to do in the class. Lesson plans allow the teacher to apply appropriate strategy. Whatever teaching strategies has been taught to them, or they have learned through various ways, so they will be able to apply the appropriate strategy which is required as per the subject requirement or as per the content to be delivered requirement. So teacher will be more prepared and confident while teaching the lesson. And this is what we want. If a teacher is nervous, if a teacher is feeling shy in the class, if the teacher's voice is not coming out from his or her throat, that means that they are not confident. And this will be observed by the students. They can bear with them for 1 or 2 days, but they cannot bear with them for another year, for the whole academic session. So maybe there will be complaints, maybe the students will not cooperate with you, maybe the students will create indiscipline in the class. So to avoid such conditions, you need to be prepared and you need to look confident while teaching the lesson. So let us now discuss what are the characteristics of a good lesson plan. So this we all want to learn, because we all want to prepare good lesson plan. So learning to plan is just like any other skill. So we learn many kinds of skill while going through this kind of training, and whether it is micro teaching skills, whether there are communication skills, various 21st century skills, behavioral skills, lot of skills have to be learned by the teacher. So if you are planning, the planning part, not only the lesson plan part, but also you have to plan for various activities which need to be conducted in a class, in a school. While working as a teacher, you have to go through many kind of works, academic works, non-academic works. You have to prepare results. You have to correct the homework. You need to prepare for many kind of functions. You need to arrange for many kind of co-curricular activities. So every activity needs planning. Proper planning will only lead to a proper organizing and then the correct results. So learning to plan is also a one kind of skill. It takes time and practice. You cannot just go through a lesson plan and you can say that yes, I have learned the lesson plan. No, it is not that much easy. But yes, after some practice and after giving some time to it, uh, doing it in innovative way, or enjoying the work which you are doing, you will be able to conquer and achieve the aim which you have contributed while going through the training. So at first the lesson planning may seems to you like a time consuming process, but by creating detailed lesson plans as a beginner teacher, you will be able to develop routine, and that can become more automatic over time. So don't worry students, you will be able to conquer that routine. You will be able to learn that how a good lesson plan can be made. You will not waste your time, you will save time, and you will feel confident, and thus you will be a role model for your students as well as your colleagues and your management also. So this all depends on your perspective of thinking that how you can learn new skills each and every time, because like other professions, teaching also need to be updated time to time, and there must be not just you have to take the pre-service teacher education, you have to go through the in-service teacher education also, so that you can keep on learning. You have to keep on learning new skills. So for a good lesson plan, there should be the lesson plan should always be in a written form. You cannot say that we have planned in our mind and the lesson plan has been organized. No, it should always be in a proper written form in a proper format. So in lesson planning, the general and important objectives should be clearly defined. So first of all, depending on the format, there must be general objectives, and then if there are specific objectives to be mentioned, then it should be mentioned and should be clearly written there. With the help of, we have discussed in a class before that, with the help of behavioral objectives and action verbs which need to be used in that particular objectives, we can prepare, clearly define the objectives. The lesson plan should relate to suitable teaching method and its use. So you have to mention also in a lesson plan that what kind of teaching strategy or teaching method will be used by you and how it will be used by you. So next is the continuity component reviews and reflects on content from the previous lesson. So yes, when you teach in a class, you have to teach the whole textbook, the content given in the syllabus. So for that, it should be in a continuation. And you have to ask questions whenever you are asking the first, whenever you are introducing the lesson, introducing any topic in your class, you have to first believe that what kind of previous learning must have been done by the students. And depending on that, the previous knowledge, you will reflect and then ask the introduction questions and then move on to the next part which you have prepared. So the subject, time, class, average age of the students should also be mentioned in the lesson plan. So it all, I have discussed that it all depends on the format which you have been given. But yes, average age can be kept in mind while preparing a lesson plan. Important examples should be included in lesson planning. Yes, if in a textbook you have found the content for your preparation of lesson plan, but you can also find out more examples, because giving more illustrations, more examples is very fruitful for a effective lesson. And for that you can include some extra information and extra things, because a student will better understand with the help of more and more examples, rather than your only the content which you are discussing with the student. Inspirational or motivational methods should be experimented in lesson planning. Yes, there must be certain format, but after some practice and time, you will be able to use some innovative methods or some motivational methods, new experiments while preparing lesson plan. So in lesson planning, the time for each topic should appropriately be predetermined. So if you have 35 to 40 minutes of a class and you have to divide your lesson plan in 3 teaching points, so there must be definite time period. You must know that in how much time I will be able to complete the 3 teaching points, because you have to go through the introduction part and at the end you have to assess also, and maybe you have to give the homework part also. So you have to assign time for everything, every activity which you are going to do in the class. So in lesson planning, the techniques and supportive materials of education, the teaching aids like charts, maps, other audiovisual materials, and its utilization should be written. So for that, there is a separate column also, and there is one sentence in which you have to mention what kind of teaching aids will be used by you, and also how it will be used and where it will be used. You have to mention that. If you are using a map, at what points you will be using a map and how you will be using that. So for that you have to paste proper miniatures in that column, so that everyone who opens your lesson plan can be able to visualize, yes, so this is your planning and this is how you are going to do. Because by seeing your lesson plan only, a supervisor will know or an observer will know that what your planning is, and then they can assume that you will be able to do it successfully, because the plan has been prepared very effectively. So when you start teaching, it is 90% of planning, because at the beginning of the career you are just learning things, and 10% of managing it. So if you have planned, you have to manage also. So whatever you have planned, maybe sometimes your planning is very good, very effective, but while implementing, you made mistakes and you become lazy and you just not able to manage whatever you have planned. So this can happen with the teachers also. So, but for an experienced teachers, by the time it is 10% of planning which remains and 90% on only the management. So just by thinking for 5 minutes, you will make a plan, and the whole, the thing will depend on the managing of that planning. So this is how the percentage varies at the starting of the career and after taking up some experience. So if having developed a set of effective management skills and teaching routines, having experienced how to be resourceful with very little, sometimes there are very little resources available with us in our institutions, and above all, having learned to trust your learners. You must trust them, because if when you are trying to give them instructions, you are not getting the response. So that means there is a lacking somewhere in the managing part, in your managing part, in your implementation part. So you have to think about that also, that how students will follow you, how students will follow all of your instructions. Then you will be ready to fly on your own. So it's then you will be experiencing the almost unbearable lightness of teaching. At the starting point, you will see that the teaching is very hectic schedule, but after experiencing that, you can make it easy by planning, proper managing it. You will be able to feel the lightness of the teaching, the art of teaching. You will be slowly mastering the art of teaching. So why should we plan a lesson? Lesson planning is essential because it helps the teacher conduct his or her lesson in an orderly manner, and it allows students to know what they are going to be learning and how is it related to their content. And the students must also know that what you are going to teach today and what they will be able to learn today. So for that, you can discuss that in the starting. Students also feel that the lessons are sequenced properly. They know that you are going through a proper sequence because there are some rules also while teaching. Having a good lesson plan will also increase confidence in the teacher. On the other hand, not having a plan will result in complete failure for both teachers and students. So, in addition, a detailed plan clearly demonstrates that the teacher has taken the time as well as put in the thought and effort into making the lesson. So your the work which you have done will be observed by everyone, so the learners will also appreciate and will try to understand what you have to say. So teachers who do not produce a lesson plan often feel that they can create a lesson. Sometimes there are few teachers who may think that if we do not prepare a proper lesson plan in a written format, we can just stand in the class and we can just prepare what to do depending on what is happening in the class. If there is so much disturbance in the class, let it be. If there is indiscipline in the class, let it be. So these kind of lessons we can known as the jungle path lessons. When you enter into a jungle and you want to find out what path you need to select to get out of the jungle. So this can sometimes work, but to continue to never have a lesson plan proves to be ineffective. So you may do it for 1 or 2 times, but you will realize that this is not the correct way. Besides, your students will become frustrated and feel a sense of negligence or carelessness on the teacher's part. This shows that you have failed as a teacher. So if you do not have anything fruitful to say to the students, they will not be able to learn or follow your instructions, and they will not respect you. You will no more a role model for them. So planning detailed lessons will avoid problems in class. Whatever problems you face in the class, you will be able to avoid that. So this will give the teacher confidence that they have done their best to plan for any eventuality, what is going to happen in the class, or at least minimize some of the few of the problems in the class. So there are certain prerequisites of lesson planning. When should we plan a lesson? Avoid planning lessons several days or weeks ahead of time. it is not necessary that you need to prepare the lesson plans several months before the delivery of the lesson, because the teacher will not be aware of the students' needs or what problems they might be facing with at that particular time. So what you can do is you can prepare lessons a few days back, but you can bring changes in that lesson, and you can leave the space blank by going through the situation of today and then prepare it for tomorrow. So it is best to plan lessons daily and bring them into class, because as the lesson is progressing, when you interact with the students in the language which they are trying to learn, the interaction gives you the feedback, things evolve and develop depending on what has happened and what is happening moment to moment. And this way the teacher has a better and more accurate understanding of what students need to focus in future lessons. So this is how, sometimes by going into the class, by sharing your content, by organizing your the implementation part, you will come to know that how you should evolve the next lesson plan, or how you should go on proceed with the next lesson plan. So these are basically, in nutshell, the purpose of lesson plans. It is used as a guide for the teacher, because they don't have to think on their feet while standing in the class. They don't have to think at that time what to do. It gives the teacher a starting point. So after going into the class, after interacting with the students, how they have been, then you can that at what point you have to proceed, how much time you have to cover all the topics. So that all the things which you are doing in the starting depends on the previous teaching, previous learning of the students, and you prepare you come prepared for the coming lessons also, because you can now judge that whatever has been taught today, the students have understood well or not understood it. The Through the feedback, you will be able to know, and you will be able to prepare the coming lessons on the basis of that, so bringing changes in that. It provides direction. You are clear on the procedure, what you have to follow in the class. It gives teacher a sense of security and confidence. They don't lose face in front of their learners, so no teacher wants their learners to make fun of them because they are not confident enough, or they are not able to explain, or they are not able to answer their questions. So it gives them sense of security and confidence. And it provides as a record. You have a record whenever you have to show to the parents, to the management, to the students, or for monitoring purposes, you can show them that you have a proper record of the lesson plan and how this you have proceeded with the lesson. It also helps keep good classroom management, which is also a very good important part of delivering of a lecture. When a lesson works well, students not only learn, they try to learn to behave also, because they learn to sit quietly, concentrate, use various kinds of skills like the critical thinking or any kind of problem solving skill. So classroom management plus well-designed lesson is equal to high achieving students. So this is going to give good results to you. And not only for the teachers, good lesson planning is also useful for the learners. They realize that the teacher cares for their learning. So because by the efforts which are being taken by the teacher, they come to know that they attend a structured lesson which is properly organized and managed, so it is easier to assimilate. So if a teacher is following the plan, if has prepared a proper plan, and they are going through that plan, so the students will be able to understand, assimilate with the learning atmosphere. They will be able to follow what the teacher is saying, how the content is proceeding, how the topic is proceeding. So they appreciate their teacher's work as a model of well organized work to imitate. So as we talk about the learning theory, social learning theory of Bandura, students do imitate their role models. And here also, if a teacher is a role model for them, they will try to follow the good qualities, they will try to imitate them. Maybe this will be a good motivation and direction for the students in while learning. So good lesson plans, in short, we can say it is based on four things. It is based on the interest and abilities of the students. Also, the teacher's own interest and strengths, teachers' beliefs about teaching and learning, and also their openness to change their plan. So you need to be flexible also. Maybe at that time when you are delivering the lesson in the class, when you are implementing the lesson, so you are not able to do what you have thought in your lesson plan. So you need to change at the moment. You should have planned for that also. You should have thought of, if this not works, then I will move on to plan B. So this is how you should be flexible also. You cannot be rigid on the part that this lesson plan, what I have prepared, I will only go through this. For example, if you are asking some questions to the students and the students are not able to answer them, but you have assumed that they will be able to answer them. So at that point, you will not say that why you are not going to answer, or what happened, why you are not giving the answers properly. This is not the answer. I want the correct answer. No, this is not the way. There are certain other ways also. Maybe the question is tough. What you can do is you can ask for some probing questions, or you can direct the question to other students, or you can, so this depends on your the flexibility part, or you can give the answer on your own. So it is not so rigid that you have to get the answer from the students only. So maybe if the students are not able to understand, or may not be able to give your answer, so in that case you can give the answer to the students. So this is how the flexibility thing works. Now, the objective of your lesson plan is to inform students why they are with you, because they should not feel that they are wasting their time by sitting in your class. What they will be able to do, because these are the objectives which you have prepared, what they will be able to do. We write the objectives in our future tense purpose. The learner will be able to learn this, the learner will be able to analyze about this, the learner will be able to learn a new skill regarding this. So this is how you prepare your objectives. So a smart rule need to be followed while preparing objectives, and this is specific, measurable, attainable, result oriented, and time bound. So these rules should be followed while you are preparing the objectives. It should be specific to the point. It can be measured. You should take care of that. It can be measured. You cannot measure that how much nationalism has developed in a student. So for that you have to write a proper sentence that you should be able to measure that. Attainable, whether you are going to achieve that in within that period of 30 to 35 to 40 minutes, so you should take care of that. It should be result oriented. It should give results, and also time bound. Okay, so it should be completed in time. You should take care of that. So these are the key elements of lesson plans. So basically, transition from moving from one thing to another swiftly. You should not mention every time that now we have completed with the first teaching point, now we will move on to our developing questions, now answer this, now this. So this is how in the starting you will learn that for swift movements you will need to do the practice, proper practice. You utilize the time, whatever you have given in the lesson plan. So while implementing, utilize the time. Then variety should be there. It should not be monotonous. It should be easy to be followed. Maybe you have included such teaching methods which are not easy to be followed in the class, and it should be precise. You will not write each and everything there in the lesson plan. Some things may be implemented in the class at that time, so you should give a precise idea there, writing, by just informing that how you will be using the teaching aids or the teaching methods. You should be able to anticipate in advance. So how you will get your class ready to learn, how you are going to motivate your students, how you are going to hinting them that you will provide examples, give hints to them, so that they will be able to know that the class becomes interesting. The students will anticipate what are we going to study today. So this is how you make them interested in your lessons. Now the instructional part need to be taken care, because you have prepared a very good lesson, but unless your instructions are not clear, it will be useless. So the instructions should develop certain skills in the students. It should give information. There should be lecture, demonstration, use of pictures, etc. Then you should be a role model. There you can make use of real objects, you can make use of the easy low cost teaching aids, use examples, show the students. Then you can carry out certain activities, so it may be sometimes predefined by the teachers so that the students are ready for the activity in the next class, or it can be created at that time. So teacher and student activities defined together with intents and displays. Now, displays are the teaching aids or the support material. So learning materials which are typically displayed and used in an instructional setting. So you should know that how to use your chart, where will you hang your maps, how will you use your blackboard, how are you going to use your models or your PowerPoint presentation. So you should be, exactly knowing at what time what you will be doing. You will be asking the questions before or you will be asking the questions afterwards, so that will be clear with the passage of your experience. So the pictures, written materials, spoken words, maps, etc., these all create interest among the students. They take real interest in them, and all of the students want to participate in such kind of activities. In they are much interested in all kind of displays which you do in your classrooms, so they are very much interested in that. Integration of technology in the classroom, this is very much important. With the advent of technology in present time, the teachers must be aware of what kind of apps or what kind of websites or through what kind of aids they can integrate the technology in the classroom, whether to use the smart board or the PowerPoint presentations in the class, the overhead projectors or the LCD projectors, which are nowadays very common, which projects the pictures in front of the class, or through internet, going through directly on the website, through YouTube, through any social media platform or any kind of educational website. So you need to learn integrate technology in the classroom, and this is how you need to prepare your lesson plans nowadays. So the old format of lesson plans need to be changed by your innovative thinking. It should be a guided practice. So you know that you will be doing these things, you will be a guide there, or the students will be doing things on their own. So teacher is available in guided practice, supervise the students as they learn, and catch their mistakes immediately and correct them. And if there is any independent practice you have given them, you have given them to prepare a project, you have given them a passage to read, so teacher must make them understand that I am not available to you, you have to complete the work. So students practice learning on their own, this also depends on them. These are the types of assignments which can be given by the teachers while preparing lesson plans. Like the assignments need to be given to the whole class at a time, in the small groups, different assignments to different groups. Workshops can be done for teaching them certain skills. Some independent work can be given to them, the projects can be given to them, peer learning in groups or mutual pairs, or any kind of contractual work can be given to them for a certain period of time. So these learning outcomes must be there in front of the students, like the cognitive outcomes, intellectual outcomes, they involve the application of facts, theories, and concepts. The psychomotor outcomes, they describe skills the learner develops, the physical, outcome. The affective outcomes are they describe feelings and attitudes which shape our behavior towards people, work, and our world. So these are the three basic domains of our behavioral objectives, and we have to take care of these outcomes which we will be desiring through our lesson plan. We need to check the understanding level of the students. For that, we can go for the interaction part and the question and answer session between the teachers and the students. And after the topic is end, you have come to the end of the topic, there should be a closure, proper closure need to be followed, like bringing the lesson to an end. Now you can go through the reviewing of the key points, and you need to bring everything together which you have disclosed in the class, taught in the class in different manners. Now you have to tie everything together. After that, you will go for the evaluation of the reflection part. So it is used to assess students' knowledge. It provides grades for report cards. It keeps parents updated. So depends what kind of evaluation procedure and for what aspect you are going to evaluate and reflect on that. So there are certain advices for do's and don'ts in brief manner. Do's are the be specific, anticipate problems which will be coming in the class, decide the timing, have all materials ready, file your plan for the future. And don'ts are avoid too many details and do not use complex terms or words. So, and the best advice is if the students are misbehaving or the behavior part is not corrected by the implementation of your lesson plans, then consider rearranging the order of your delivery. So maybe it is not interesting, and compare what actually happened with your original plan. So you planned a very good lesson planning, but after going through organizing it or implementing it in the class, the result did not come out. So you can always go for reflection part, and you can ponder upon the things which you can bring change in that. So with this, we come to the end of the lesson today, and you can go through these references and you can find out the various things which are useful for preparing a good lesson plan. Now we will move on to our evaluation questions part. And the question number 1 is, which of the following is not the purpose of lesson planning while used as a guide for the teacher? The options are: they don't have to think on their feet, give the teacher a starting point, they build on previous teaching and prepare for coming lessons, teacher can pass their time easily in the class. So by going through the options, we can see that the purpose for a good lesson plan is not to pass their time easily in the class. Question number 2 is, what should be done for effective lesson plan? Be specific, do not anticipate problems, no time limit to be decided, plan lesson in the class. So by going through the options, we can see that B option is not correct because we have to anticipate problems. No time limit, it is not possible. You have to consider a time limit while delivering a lesson plan. And you will not plan a lesson in the class. It should be done beforehand. So the correct option is be specific to the point if you want to prepare an effective lesson plan. Before starting instruction, a teacher should, options are: know the existing knowledge of his students and their background knowledge, be aware of the environmental variables acting on the mind of the pupil, be competent enough to arouse the curiosity of people, or all of the above. So the correct answer is all of the above, because before starting an instruction, the teacher should do all the three options which are given here. Question number 4 is, a lesson plan is the teacher's guide for running the particular lesson, and it includes the dash. The options are goal, center point, worksheet, or experience. So it is a guide for the teachers for a particular lesson, but it should have a goal, what a teacher needs to achieve through this lesson. Question number 5 is, which of the following is not the key point for lesson plan? The options are transition, use time, variety, or printing. The options are printing. So the key points for preparing a good lesson plan is, transition from one phase to another, utilizing of the time, including variety, but printing is not a key point for the lesson plan. Next question is, it is important to have the dash in mind for driving the development and implementation of all activities in the classroom. The options are unit plan, learning objectives, evaluation, or test. So the correct answer is learning objectives, because this should be in the mind every time while preparing anything or planning of anything for the classroom. Question number 7 is, important dash should be included in lesson planning. Examples are points, examples, options are points, examples, PPT, or signature. So what should you include in your lesson plan so that the students understand more and more? So that is the examples. More and more examples should be given, more and more real life examples, real objects, or similar conditions should be talked about, or the illustrations, the examples can be given within the class also. Next question is, teacher will be more prepared and dash while teaching the lesson. So how should a teacher be while teaching a lesson? The options are shy, reserved, outspoken, or confident. So we want our student to be, our teacher to be confident while teaching the lesson. And for that only the planning part is required. Question number 9 is, it is important to come up with a plan for dash to determine whether the class has met its targets. So how will we know that the class has met its targets? Options are experience, assessment, foundation, or bulletin. So through assessment only we will be able to determine whether the aims, goals which we have prepared are met or not. And the last question is, which one is not the SMART objectives? Options are specific, measurable, effective, result oriented, or time bound. So out of these we can find out that effective is not the objective. It should be attainable here. So the correct answer is effective, and it is not one of the objectives of the SMART. It should be attainable. So with this, we come to the end of the class today. Thank you very much. And I hope you will be able to prepare a very effective and good lesson plans, and you will be able to deliver it efficiently in the class, and thus show that you are an effective teacher. Thank you very much, and see you in next class.